Hello, guys. It's me and Yanzi Lynn, and we're talking today about a kind of a hot topic on the Twitters, on the YouTubes, all of that stuff. But we're going to talk about Scott Adams, the Dilbert Cartoonist, and the aftermath of a controversial thing he said, which honestly, you can go check it out yourself. A lot of this is going to be taking a little bit out of context, but if you go listen to what he's saying, he kind of had a point, but people aren't really talking about the point. People are actually going straight to the jugular and canceling him right away before partaking in the conversation. Okay, so what do we got?
All this came about because of a certain poll that they surveyed 1,000 Americans. Supposedly, these are like voting Americans, and there's a margin of error of 9%, so they consider this to be a pretty accurate poll. But anyway, there was this question that was asked: do you agree or disagree with this statement? It's okay to be white. Apparently, the Anti-Defamation League characterized the phrase "it's okay to be white" as a hate slogan due to its links to white supremacist websites. But we're not going to say anything about that. Anyway, the report found that 72% of the respondents agreed, including 53% who are black. I guess basically what Adams inferred was that since there are only 53% who agreed, that means that 47% disagreed, meaning it's not okay to be white. At least that's how Adams himself read it. Now, the thing is, though, I think it was only like 20-something percent that actually said it's not okay to be white. The other ones were like, undecided, neutral, whatever. The point is that Adams went with that. And then this was his response. This was the line. This was his line that got him totally fired from everything. And he said, if nearly half of all blacks are not okay with white people, that's a hate group, he declared. I don't want to have anything to do with them. And I would say, based on the current way things are going, the best advice I would give to white people is to get the beep away from black people, because there's no fixing this. Wow. All right. Okay, so this is the thing. If you took that paragraph by itself, sounds very yikes, doesn't it?
Right. And that's kind of the problem, taking stuff out of context. Now, like previously, he had stated, whether it's a parody or not, that he identified as being black and he just wants to remove himself from a racist group. The thing is like, you could go through anything anybody's ever said on live stream and take things and re-edit things out of context. To listen to the full conversation, he's basically pulling out a type of hypocrisy. And that would be for somebody to say it's not okay for somebody to be born the color of the skin they are. That's just not okay. And that is probably walks a thin line, if not quite simply is a hate group, to state that you don't like that. Now, for him, if this question was framed any other way, which it's a baited question to begin with. It's not like you can go out there and say, fill in the blank what the color is. Is it okay to be this?
Is it okay to be X race? Can you imagine if instead of the word white there, they just put, any other race in the world and say it's okay to be that race. And if 53% of the people disagree with it, it's like, ooh, yikes. Oh my gosh.
I don't subscribe to this, but there is this concept floating around out there that it's you can't be racist to a white demographic, which quite simply, in my opinion, is false. You can be racist to any color of skin.
And anybody can be a racist. It doesn't matter what color your skin is whatsoever. It seems like everybody's capable of racism. Racism is defined as a certain act of, hatred and so on displayed towards people of a certain skin color. And I believe they didn't just say excluding white people. So
right. So where does that bring us today? What was the cost of this conversation? And keep in mind, before we move forward, everything that is the consequence of this happened in about 48 hours.
Yeah. So pretty crazy things. If you really want to, kind of like keep in the know of what's happening, just follow Scott Adams on his Twitter. So first, he was dropped by his non-Dilbert publisher, and they're dropping everything, including his upcoming books and his back catalog. And then his syndicate strip, which is Dilbert, is actually being dropped by the syndicate themselves. So what that means is that it will not be available at any newspapers ever again, and that includes overseas newspaper. People think, it's just the USA papers. No, that's his distributor. So basically, Dilbert is stripped from every single newspaper in the world, if people still read newspaper.
Right. Now, we've talked about cancellations of certain people on this channel, and I've kind of followed it all the way back to Chris Hardwick and the Me Too stuff. I kind of want to say this is happening at an accelerated rate. And what I mean by that is the fallout of it and how quick he lost so much so quick, and the reaction of
the worst part is for something taken out of context.
Right. look, I mean, the guy's made his money. Okay. Like I'm pretty sure he's at a nice retirement age and all of that. And, you know, the money's been made. And let's be honest, like, it's not like he's spending a lot of time drawing this. But with that said, you are watching cancel culture happening at an accelerated rate. And so much so that people in the mainstream comic book industry, not even newspaper syndicate strips, wants to go out there and compile their thoughts and ideals on this to try to fight for relevance for one article on Bleeding Cool. We got all the lights from Scott Kurtz to Jamal Liegel to Chris Cross.
I love this list of people that they put together. So Scott McCloud, because apparently Rich Johnson forgot how to spell McCloud. But anyway, he wants to remind people that he is not Scott Adams, different Scott altogether. Please not confuse us. Yeah, do you know literally how many tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of Scott there in the world? I mean, seriously, is that your biggest concern? And of course, you have artists kind of like Chris Cross talking about, you know, he wants to move to an all-white place. Show him. Okay, sure. Yes, racial segregation is all the rage now, y'all. And Scott Kurtz, yes, I'm glad Andrew McNeil cut ties with Scott, racist script Adams, but frankly, they should have done it years ago. All right.
Right.
And Jamal Igo and scene. Scott Adams has lost his syndicator/publisher. So all these people who have not been relevant in the mainstream comic book industry for years or even decades are suddenly all having an opinion about some guy being cancelled because I guess I got tired of watching him count his millions of dollars from all the Dilbert strips and all the products, I guess.
Even an animated TV show. So the whole thing is just such a weird thing to watch. It's also weird because this was done on YouTube. Now, this wasn't like, there are certain things and certain nuances and little like a smirk or a laugh that you're going to get in the audio video, but it's not going to translate to copy or type. And there's also like not been a lot of people reporting on this. Nobody's going to him really to talk to him about this. Not yet anyways, as of this video. Maybe a couple of YouTubers, I think, have reached out to him and had a conversation with him. Where does this go? Where's the bottom of this? Well, he's already canceled. He's already lost everything. There's not much more consequence to this. Did Scott Adams imagine this was going to happen when he said what he said? I don't know.
Dude, I don't think he expected this because the fall is outrageous if you think about it. He basically lost all his means of income through this one statement. So what does Scott have to say to all this? Another question for those who canceled me is, do they disagree with my point? So far, I've not seen it. I only see disagreement with my use of hyperbole.
So the problem with disagreeing with what he said, and that's what's interesting, is in you are doubling down on racism towards a color of skin. So it's really weird. A lot of people, you can cancel him all day long, but if you disagree with them, you are actually agreeing to a racist act. It's really weird, this whole thing, to sit back and watch it. And the more it plays out, like, I mean, I don't know if there's much more to come of this. I don't know if this will be a thing where it's walked back one day and the guy is allowed to continue Dilbert strips, or even to do another strip and be in a newspaper again. I have no idea.
I believe that he still owns Dilbert. He's actually going to continue the Dilbert strip on his local website. The thing is that though there's nobody really to help him to syndicate this stuff. But nowadays, you see syndicates are mainly used for the distribution of the newspaper printings and so on, whether it's digital or print versions. So if he has a way to basically do it himself, I don't see why he has to give them a cut of the money.
Well, you know, we'll see. You know, a lot of these strips were built to be in newspapers, so coming out of the newspaper kind of changes the whole layout and everything like that if he wants. But anyways, guys, leave us a comment below. Let us know what you think about this. If this is your first time to the channel, please hit like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. Also, Inglorious Rex, this is our own independent comic book up on our independent crowdfunding site, getting ready to, like, one backer away from $222,000. If you guys will, please look down below, check out the link. I'll leave you guys with a trailer for this smash hit comic book, Inglorious Rex, and I'll catch you guys again with another video.
Let out the beast. Let him out.